All right, so what we're doing today is bearings. We're just going to start off with exercise 806, question 7. So, if the bearing of P from A is 60 degrees, what is the bearing of A from P? So, I'm just reminding you also that bearings are they have to be in triple digits like this, so they're a three-figure bearing. Okay, as in contrast to compass bearings, which is to do with north and south and east and west. So, we've got to draw this, right? So if the bearing of P from A is 60 degrees, the important word here that I must address is from, okay? We have to start from A. So if I draw my compass bearing like this, okay, you know that north is here, east is there, basically. So 60 degrees starts from north in a clockwise direction, so it's going to point this way. Now, if I point that way, 60 degrees, it's going to be more than halfway between north and east, okay? Because this whole thing is 90 degrees. So 60 degrees is about 2/3 of the way. So I'm going to write that there. Now, we started from A, okay? And we're getting the bearing of P. So from A is here, and we arrived at P here, okay? And now the question is asking, what is the bearing of A from P? So from P, which is right here, okay, I'm going to draw a compass bearing once again, and I need to find out now what is this angle in total. Okay, so that is the bearing of A from P. Okay, so this angle here is what we're going to find. Now, how do we actually find that? When you have two compass bearings like this, okay, you should use alternate angles. So the alternate angle that I'm talking about is right here. So see, this looks like a Z. That means this angle here is going to be this angle here as well. Okay, so that's going to be taking up an angle of 60 degrees. Okay, now whereas this whole entire angle here is 180 degrees. So that red angle that you see is a total of these two blue angles, which is 180 plus 60. Okay, so I'm just going to write the bearing equals to 180 degrees plus 60 degrees, which is equal to 240 degrees in total. Okay, that's question 7's answer. Now, let's go to question 8. The bearing of T from Y is 100 degrees. What is the bearing of Y from T? So, where would 100 degrees be if you started from north and you went in a clockwise direction? You would actually go to the next quadrant, okay? So any angle here, okay, is going to be between 0 and 90. 100, okay, would be more than 90. Okay, let me just draw that properly. So that's going to be around there, okay? So this is 90 plus another 10 degrees would be 100 degrees. Okay. All right, so I'm just letting you know this part here is in fact 10 degrees. Okay, so that 90 plus 10 gives you 100. Now, that point there was Y. Okay, so we started from Y and now we're going towards T. Okay, so just remember that this is an important word. Okay, that's where we're starting from. Now, T is going to be right here. Okay, so we arrived at point T here, and now it's asking what is the bearing of Y from T. So from T, we have to start in a northerly direction and move clockwise until we reach that line that points towards Y. So what angle is that? Now remember what I said before about having two compass bearings here. You should use anything to do with alternate angles to help you. So the way you would do this to find out what this angle is, okay, is use this alternate angle. Okay, let me just highlight that. I'll make it darker. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So this one here. Okay, so if you just pay attention to those highlighted lines, that 100 degrees there, okay, is going to be alternate to this 100 degrees here. Okay, so this is also 100 degrees. Okay, now if that is 100 degrees, then what that means is if you want to find out the red angle, you got to plus that 100 with whatever this is. okay? And that angle there is simply 180 degrees. It's just a straight angle. So the total bearing of y from t, okay, which is basically the red line here, is 180 plus 100 degrees. So I'm gonna write that. So bearing of y from t equals to 180 plus 100, which is 280 degrees. Okay? Now, let's move on to question 9. What is the angle size between south and southwest? So let's try and draw that. Okay, so south is pointing down. Southwest is right in between south and west, so that's going to be this line here. Okay, now it's asking for what angle is between these two directions. So this whole entire angle here between south and west is in fact 90 degrees, and southwest is just pointing halfway between south and west. So that means if you halve 90, that would evenly split this into 45 degrees and 45 degrees. Okay, so the angle size between these two lines is just going to be 45. Okay, so we're just going to write 45 degrees as our answer. Now, for our next question, between northeast and southeast. Okay, what angle is between those two? So northeast is the direction right between north and east. Okay, so there's north, there's east. So northeast will be the line that's just pointing right between them. So that's northeast right there. Okay, now southeast is the line that's pointing between south and east. So south and east is here. Okay, now remember what I said earlier. Anything that's northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest, they are right between those two vertical and horizontal directions, and they cut that 90 degrees in half, meaning that all these angles that I'm putting down now, they're 45. Okay, because these two 45s have to add up to become 90 right there. So 45 is here as well as right there. So we're interested to find out what this angle is here. Okay, the angle between northeast and southeast. That's basically 45 plus 45. Okay, so 45 plus 45 is simply 90 degrees. So it's just a right angle that's right between those two directions. C, what's the angle between E, which is east, and northwest? Okay, well, E is right here. Let me just move that this way. Okay, so this is our easterly direction, and northwest is right between north and west, so that's going to be right there. Okay, so now we're trying to find out the angle between this and this. Okay, so the angle between north and northwest is 45 degrees. Okay, as I said earlier, 90 degrees is halved to make that. And this is 90 degrees between north and east. So the sum of those angles would give you the angle difference between those two directions. So I would write 90, okay, plus 45, which is 135 degrees. Okay, so that's the angle size between those two directions. Right, moving on. Question 10. The compass bearing of H from M. Okay, so that's the important letter that we start from M, is WNW, which is west of northwest. Find the compass bearing of M from H. Okay, so let me read that first sentence again. We're starting from M. Okay, now where is this going to be? West of northwest. That's going to be pointing somewhere around here. Okay, now let me just be exact for you. So here's my compass bearing. Okay, now we're starting from M. That's what it said. Okay, in the information here. And we're trying to find the bearing. Oh, it's saying that the compass bearing of H from M is that. Okay, so let's firstly draw where's northwest. Okay, so if this is my northerly direction, and my westerly direction, northwest will be right between. So that's northwest. Now, where is west of northwest? What that means is that you start with northwest, but you move it halfway towards the westerly direction. So that's going to be this line here, which I'm about to draw. So there's my line. Okay, I'm just going to draw more accurately. There we go. So that is now pointing towards west of northwest. Okay. Now it's asking for what is the compass bearing of M from H? Well, this is now H. Okay. So we have to start with H now. Okay, right there. And we have to find out what the compass bearing of M is from H. Okay, so, how do we actually do that? Well, easiest way is that we got to find out which two directions it's between. So this is north, whereas this is east. Okay, and this is south. So this direction here that is starting from H and pointing towards M is between south and east. Okay. Now, the thing is, right, this angle was 45 degrees before. Now, 45 degrees halved will become 22.5 degrees. Okay, I'm just going to write that here. Oops. So this is 22.5 degrees. Now, using alternate angles, that would also be 22.5 degrees. Okay, so what compass bearing is this, in fact? Well, if I was to put where southeast is, okay, southeast is in this direction, okay, on that compass bearing. So 22.5 degrees is actually halfway between east and southeast, okay? Now, what would you do to this to get towards this direction? You have to turn it towards this easterly direction. So this compass bearing is in fact east of southeast. So it's ESE, okay? That is the compass bearing, all right? So just to be precise again, this is east, this is south, this is southeast. East of southeast is right between east and southeast. Okay, so this is the compass bearing we're looking for. Right, moving on. Question 11. Draw a diagram for each situation described. A plane flies on a bearing of 280 degrees for 150 kilometers, and then another 250 kilometers on a bearing of 80 degrees. So, where would the bearing of 280 degrees be? Now, we start off by drawing our compass bearing. Okay. Now, 280 degrees will be more than this because this is 90, 180, 270. These are just 3 lots of 90, which become 270. 280 would be 10 more than this number, which means it's somewhere around here. Okay. Then notice how it's also going to fly another 250 kilometers on a bearing of 80 degrees. So from that point onwards, it's going to fly again. Now I'm just going to move this right here because I want to show you that you do need to actually be careful with the space that you have. Now 280 degrees would be somewhere around here, as I said before. Okay, I'm just going to use a blue one instead. Right there. So that is in total of 280 degrees. Okay, so 3 90s and another 10 degrees here. Okay, gives you 280. Now, what happened is that plane flew in that direction, but it's now also going to travel at 80 degrees. Okay, Now, it flew in this direction for 150 kilometers, so I should label that too. Before it traveled another 80 degrees, which is about this much. Okay? Right. So let me just make this a bit clearer. There we go. All right. So it's going to travel another 80 degrees. Okay. And it's going to be longer as well. So 80 degrees is the amount of turn from northerly direction towards that line. That's 80. Okay. That's more hanging towards the easterly direction because that will be 10 left. That'll be 80. So 80 is here, okay? And we're traveling for a total distance of 250 kilometers. So this line must be longer than this line, okay? And that's basically it. That's the diagram, right? So the plane flew in this direction, followed by that direction, okay? Now, what if I wanted to do question B? Okay, so a cyclist travels 15 kilometers due east and then 20 kilometers on a southwest bearing. Okay, so let me just copy that again onto another page. Okay, so that will be here, right? Okay, so for question B, let's have a go. A cyclist travels 15 kilometers due east, right? So we're going to go this way. Okay. So that cyclist is going to go 50 kilometers this way. Okay. So that's 15 kilometers right there. And he's going to travel 20 kilometers on a southwest bearing. So after traveling to this point, we're going to draw another compass bearing like that. Okay. And they're also going to travel 20 kilometers on a southwest bearing, which means it's this direction. Okay. So firstly, we traveled east, and then we stopped at this point, and now we're going to travel on a southwest bearing, which is this. Okay, between south and west. Okay, and this will be for 20 kilometers. So if you were to do it to just a little bit to scale, that means it's longer than this line here. Okay, right. Moving on to next question, 12. For this diagram, find the bearing of y from z. Okay. Now remember how whenever you do bearings, the most important word that you have to understand is the word from. So the letter after the word from, which is z, is where we start from. So from z here, if I was to have a compass bearing, which I'll just add in like that, if I want to go towards y, which is this whole angle, okay, towards y, what is that angle? Well, that angle is simply 180 degrees, which is what I'm drawing there, plus another 50. Okay, so 180 plus 50 is going to equal to 230 degrees in total. That's this angle here. Okay, now for question B, x from z. If we're looking at where x is right there. We're trying to go from z all the way to x. Okay, now that looks like 3 quadrants worth to me. So that's 180 degrees plus another 90, or you can think of it as 90, 90, and 90. Triple 90 is 270 degrees. Okay. C, y from x. Okay, so from x this time is here. Okay, we're trying to go towards y. Okay, so from x, go to y. So from x, if I was to have that true bearing, okay, going towards y, okay, that's a sum of 90 degrees from north to east, and then added with another 70 here, which is indicated by that angle. So 90 plus 70 would be 160 degrees. D, x from y. Okay, so from y, this time we're going to draw a compass bearing at y, like that. And from y, we're going to go towards x. Okay, so start with the northerly direction from y and go towards x. So we're just trying to find that. Okay. Now, we don't have any angles whatsoever like next to y. So we're going to find some angles just by using alternate angles. So if we're using the, we're trying to find the bearing from y to x, well, look at x. What kind of angle can we use there? We can use that angle of 70 and bring it down. Okay, so using alternate angles, 70 degrees here would also be 70 here. So I'm going to label that 70 right now. Okay, that's 70. Now, remember, we're trying to find what this angle is. So that whole angle is the same thing as 3 quadrants worth, which is triple 90. That's 270 degrees. Okay, I'm just going to write that there. So that's 270 degrees in total. Plus another 70. So 270 plus 70 is equal to 340 degrees. And now we're off to doing question E. E says start from Y, okay, but go to Z. So if I start from Y, okay. If I start from Y, that's over here. Let me remove all this. So start from Y and go towards Z, which is here. So we're trying to find out this angle here from Y pointing towards Z. Again, we don't have any angles there, but we must use an angle here to help us. Using alternate angles, you can draw a Z shape here, which means that if this is 50, then this is also 50. So easy. That is our bearing basically. It's 50 degrees. Okay. F. Find the bearing of Z from X. So from X, okay, which is right here, go towards Z. Okay, so if you start from a northerly direction and rotate your angle towards this line that points towards Z, that's just exactly 90 degrees. So we're going to say that our answer for that one is 90 degrees. Okay, I hope that helps you.